Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Mark Doze. I am a fiance, a father, and a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu professor, black belt under Johnny Faria.
Excellent, excellent. All right. What made you want to get the tattoo?
The last couple of years, I've been on a pretty immense spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that caught my attention about having a tattoo like this done is that the information that I would receive after the tattoo was finished and the process was complete, because it's not just complete at the time that you get the tattoo done. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
That the information that I would receive would become coming from a place that I've never received information from, because I'm a writer, so I read a lot and I like watching documentaries and follow everything I can to read and receive information, but they all come from a few different sources. And then this would be receiving information from a place that I didn't even necessarily knew existed. And I'm also a huge fan of tattoos.
Yeah,
I'm covered in tattoos.
You can say that.
Yeah, I did just like the fact of getting another tattoo as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Or if you could just a little bit closer to me.
Oh, closer?
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
And as far as the tattoo goes, I've always wanted to get a tribal style tattoo done where it is not done with the traditional machine. It was done by hand, dot by dot. So that also was an interest of mine long before, just as a fan of tattooing.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, what were your thoughts before the process started? Like after we had spoken about doing it, maybe after I had sent you that email? What were your thoughts? Maybe what you were expecting? Maybe you can describe getting the email.
Yeah, so we spoke at Maricosta. I remember seeing you because we met a long time ago through a tattoo parlor, actually introduction. And I remember speaking to you at Maricosta and just thinking that you looked so good and that you seemed like you were in such a good place.
Yeah.
And that our conversation was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we conversed a little bit about what you were doing and how you did it with the tattoos and the work. And it seemed like you believed in it so much. So that was kind of one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, let's see where this is going. And then you told me that you were going to send me an email after you did some reflections on our conversation and let me know what you think the next step should be. And I remember getting the email. And I remember reading the email. And I remember then putting the email away and like not saying anything or thinking about it, because the stuff that was inside of the email was impossible for you to know.
Yeah.
So at that moment, like especially with the loss that I have received in the last couple of years of my life, I just found it very almost disconcerting. So I didn't really think about it. And then I reread it. And then I reread it again. And I was like, okay, this is somebody that I think I can trust to work with.
Yeah.
So I think the email gave me the initial sight into what is possible.
Totally. Okay. Excellent, excellent. And any extra thoughts you may have had before getting the tattoo, right before that day, maybe what you were expecting?
I was very intrigued by the energy in the room. That was the thing that I was concentrating most on, was how I felt in that place. Because I've had a lot of hours of tattooing. And I've had them in different places with different people as the tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And energy is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because how you get your tattoo and the process, how it's going to heal, how it's going to look. So the whole thing from start to finish.
Absolutely.
And the energy was awesome. It was very unique to see one needle as somebody who's gotten a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
So I think the process was very unique
and
individual.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's see.
So Phil, just to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
Are you okay with the fact that you're responding
Yeah,
to
I
us
kind
being
of.
there? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I kind of wanted that,
Okay,
like a
cool.
natural feeling.
Yeah, no worries. Just want to make sure.
What was the previous week before the tattooing like? You know, after we had made the appointment, I sent you the email. What was that week like before you got the tattoo? And how did it differ from the rest of your life?
Well, I found it interesting that we spoke and then I received the email and then we set up my first appointment and then I had to reschedule, but I had to leave it open-ended. And the timing that fell in between the initial appointment and when we actually did the tattoo, I received my black belt, which culminated 11 years of training for me as a martial artist. So the idea that I had to push it back because of the things that were happening in my life, having gone through the tribulation of receiving my black belt and all the process that went into just that process, that weekend, physically, mentally, and emotionally, I thought that was so tremendous, and that was such a tremendous experience. And then the week before I got tattooed, I realized that this is all one. This entire thing is one. Like meeting you and then doing the tattoo and then receiving my black belt, and then the week of the tattoo having these transformative things happening in my life where I'm now taking a different path. And I'm moving in different ways, and I'm processing information in certain ways.
Excellent. Let's see. What was getting the tattoo like?
Not like any other tattoo I've ever gotten. It was like an emotional roller coaster. I felt myself getting really, really happy and not really being fazed by the pain, just kind of more soaking in the surroundings. And then other moments I go really internal because like I was in so much physical pain and I felt really weird inside, almost like a heaviness. And then the outside, I couldn't really understand. I didn't really know what song was playing. I didn't know if there was incense still burning. I couldn't really smell anything. I couldn't really see anything. And then I would come back and I'd be like, oh, okay. And I would notice that as my energy would change, you could feel it, but you didn't stop what you were doing. Like your rhythm stayed the same, even though you would start talking to me in different ways or asking me certain questions to kind of maybe bring me back or take me away from whatever I was feeling. But it didn't seem like it was affecting you. I felt like I was going through all of this emotional stuff that you could feel, but like it didn't really affect the process at all.
Absolutely. And I remember at the end too, you were very happy. So how would you even describe maybe how that roller coaster ended?
It didn't really end. It was more of like up and then down and then up and then down, and then in like cartoons, like kids movies, the end is just like the cart goes. That's what the end was like. I left feeling happy, and since then, I have not hit the ground.
Excellent. All right. Which brings me to my next question, and feel free to take as long as you'd like to answer this question. What were the results of the tattoo in your life? How did it affect your life?
Would have loved to have had these a couple days ago.
I asked you.
Now I would have liked it. My whole life, I struggled with taking on other people's projections. Like my family's God. And like what the rules are there, and like how you should dress, and what color your hair should be, and like in which ways to walk, and in which things to think. Not necessarily how to think, but what to think. Not how to do something, but what to do. And I started letting go of that, as I got older as a teenager, and then after my dad passed away, I let it go a lot. Because he was really like the staple to my heritage of Judaism, Christianity, and all the things that come with that. I used to care a lot about what people thought. And I used to think that like if I could find a way to make all those inputs work, then my life would be cool, and I would be cool in it, and I'd be happy. I have so much self-belief now after going through this process with you and getting this tattoo that I feel like that's all I need is self-belief.
Gotcha.
So I think for me, the tattoo really grounded me to myself and to the idea that everything that I need to accomplish my goals in this experience is inside of me.
Excellent. Would you say you're living the same life you used to in any way?
I honestly can't even remember that old life. And that's what it feels like. Absolutely. It feels like a very, very long time ago. And no, I live completely different now. I exist in a completely different frequency.
Excellent. And how would you say, this is very particular for you since you're a martial artist, how would you say it's affected your jiu-jitsu game?
As martial artists,
Mhm.
especially high level, MMA, jiu-jitsu, submission grappling, a lot of people think that if you train enough reps each side, and if you do the right diet, and if you do the right things, science provides
Mhm.
that's how you'll be successful.
Mhm.
And I think that this process has shown me that the reason why it's called martial arts is because we create art
Mhm.
inside of the context of hand-to-hand combat. So it has made me, it's a lot easier for me to better my jiu-jitsu now that I focus on improvisation rather than study and practice and regurgitation.
Mhm.
So inside of the moments while we're training,
Yeah.
being free in every space to create new moves and new ways of moving, and then come back to the things that we've trained and then the fundamentals, because you
Yeah.
need those there. But
Yeah.
I think this process has shown me to try and create more
Yeah.
and to be more within martial arts.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. And any thoughts or remarks or advice to others that would be thinking about getting a tattoo?
We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
This works.
Yeah.
This is very real.
Excellent. Yeah.
It's very scary. I would say trust you
Yeah.
to this person, whoever I was speaking to. I would say trust Phil as much as you can
Okay.
to give you the information at the right time.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't give you information that you want to know,
Mm-hmm.
it's for the right reasons. And to trust that everybody who wants to get this done can do this and have these types of changes, because I'm no different than anybody else.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Much
you,
love.
man.
Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. All right. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Michael Dove, and let's see what I do. I'm a. They tell me I'm a shaman, and I speak to people about their soul.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. What made you want to get the tattoo?
Okay, all right. That's a good question, and there's a very, very long answer. So what I'm going to do is take that classical liberty that teachers and mentors take
Mm-hmm.
in talking about their student, and I'm going to speak about you
Mhm.
as if you are not in the room.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
As much as possible, just try to have a conversation with Phil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're doing it relaxed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all of that being said, I have to start back when I first met you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I knew that you were very spiritually precocious,
Mm-hmm.
and I could kind of see how you were going to develop and unfold, and especially around your work and your art and your vocation and everything, and what it would mean,
Mm-hmm.
what it would mean in the world and such. So, so as I watched you develop and had you participate in creating and doing major shamanic ritual in the desert, and watched your spiritual and your intuitive development in terms of like dealing with and engaging with people.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that you had very formidable skills,
Mm-hmm.
and because I could see what you were capable of, I knew that it would be okay and a good thing to allow you to tattoo me, and I like the way that you worked. It's kind of a challenge in the sense of you choosing the image that you wanted to bring,
Mm-hmm.
and you choosing where in the body it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very much kind of like a process of building on that trust for you,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of doing that and applying it. And so I would say this: I knew what you brought to the process in
Mm-hmm.
terms of your intuitive ability,
Mm-hmm.
the level and the depth of your study. So I know that your study of imagery and the history of imagery and the psychological and symbolic
Mm-hmm.
meanings of imagery from multiple cultures, and how that was part of your repertoire of what you brought,
Mm-hmm.
and what you were capable of doing as a healer and an energetic healer and an intuitive. I knew that it would be a very, very powerful image
Mm-hmm.
that you would bring to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I was not disappointed in the least.
Okay.
That the image that you showed me,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I could see the power of it like immediately. You know, the clarity of how you constructed the image, and the allusions to the principle as above, so below,
Mm-hmm.
and the infinite. That I knew it would be very, very powerful, and I was aware of, and I could feel it prior to getting the tattoo itself. The gathering of energies,
Mm-hmm.
the familiar gathering of energies, the gathering of vibration and such, in anticipation
Mm-hmm.
of the event, that was there. And so as we got closer, the experience itself was filled with some very significant synchronicities.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it was like we had not planned on it consciously, but we did the tattoo on Easter. Okay, the great holiday of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
You see, a transformation of deep metamorphosis, life change metamorphosis. The holiday of a new covenant,
Mm-hmm.
kind of energy, and that's what it felt like for me as I was going through the process.
Mm-hmm.
That it was the way that the physical experience worked for me was that it was very much as if the pain itself were taking me into an underworld.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there was this underworld and a deeply internal kind of process in which there was an almost alchemical kind of change, an alchemical kind of shift.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so there was a sense of a kind of subtle reprogramming and a restructuring
Mm-hmm.
going on, and you were applying it very, very consciously.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you were very much aware and conscious of feeling and seeing all of the particular energies and vibrations that were being gathered there.
Mm-hmm.
in this process. So I think we both acknowledged that the room was very crowded.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
It was a very, very crowded room with energies that had vibration that was very ancient.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as if all of the the soul histories kind of came in for this event.
Mhm.
And you were the one who was marshaling, quite literally, masters of ceremonies.
Mhm. Yeah.
Master of ceremonies.
Mhm.
And since it was all done in a ceremonial kind of manner that you were in charge of,
Mhm.
the experience was one in which it was very much like being guided through a portal.
Yeah.
You see, so it was like that Easter kind of experience of being in the cave, going through an ordeal, being in the dark, being in an internal kind of place, but emerging outward
Mhm.
anew.
Mhm.
And so it's like you were guiding through the experience this kind of psychic birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the process that was happening
Mhm.
happening for me. And of course, what was particularly delightful was, of course, it's like we both have a good knowledge of how ritual works and what goes into it and what constitutes metamorphosis and transformation. So there was an appreciation in real time
Mhm.
of what was
Agreed.
actually
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
You see, and in that process, I could immediately feel the shift. I could feel kind of being in a different place,
Mhm.
and the period after
Mhm.
the tattoo, even as it was healing and as it's healed, and still, even as I worked with people doing energetic work or intuitive work and such, I could identify that because of the tattoo, because of this tattoo experience, it gave another dimension of an almost laser-like depth
Mhm.
in terms of being able to tune into and engage with people. I could feel that extra energy in terms of being able to kind of use the imagery, of the tattoo, and so it was it's very powerful, and it was like something that was that continued to unfold in terms of the significance
Absolutely, yeah.
of it. And one of the key things that I was able to feel, interpret, and experience with this tattoo is that it's very profound in a sense, because I can see and I know that it essentially functions energetically very much as a royal insignia.
Mhm. Absolutely.
It's like that's what you
That's how it was
what
designed.
you brought. Yes, precisely. That's what you brought, and it did indeed, and it does indeed have that impact, or that energetic function.
Mhm.
And so when I've shown it to other people, when I've just shown it to people, they immediately are almost taken aback by it,
Mhm.
even though it's very simple and minimalist in its design. There's something about it that just reaches in
Mhm.
and touches people. There's
Mhm.
something about it energetically that is elevated.
Yeah.
There's an elevated aspect to it.
Mhm.
And it's very profound to experience. It's a very, very extraordinary gift to have that image
Mhm.
permanently on me. And so that kind of in a nutshell is what the experience has kind of been for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right. Going off script, you answered all my questions, but we'll throw a couple extras in here.
Okay.
Let's see. What advice would you have for the spiritual seeker who wants to get one of these tattoos?
Okay, very good. I would say that to understand that in deciding to get a tattoo from you, what I would tell people is that it's not just an ordinary tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the image is kind of like the tip of the iceberg in
Mm-hmm.
terms of what you bring.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because I know a lot about you and your process
Mm-hmm.
and what goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what it does. Okay,
Mhm.
and what the intent is. Okay, the energy that you bring, and how you go about it. That I would advise people that it is about life change.
Mm-hmm.
That you are a healing practitioner
Mhm.
who uses the vocation of tattooing, the art,
Mhm.
the art and the practice as your medium.
Mm-hmm.
But you are a shaman in the sense that you are engaging with their energies,
Mm-hmm.
and you're working with their energies primarily, and you're very, very skilled and able to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that I would advise people to understand that is the process that they are stepping into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that they essentially become different.
Mm-hmm.
They have to understand that they become different people.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, their identity is shifted.
Mm.
How their soul sits in their body energetically
Yeah.
becomes different.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a whole different stance and direction to one's life. And so, as I've watched you kind of develop